So today we are going to look at citizenship, right? You will hear people saying that they have dual citizenship, they have two passports. Or if you're in a secondary school, you will get to see that some of your students, some of your colleagues or classmates, let's say they are giving birth to in USA, in Britain, in Mexico, but they are in the same class with you in Nigeria, right? Sometimes you will hear that something like they travel to go and renew their documents because it's expiring. These are some of the things we need to, when they dance around your environment, if you understand this topic, you can then relate to it. So we're going to explain the term citizenship or citizen. We're going to discuss the rights, duties, and obligations of a citizen and the difference between citizens and non-citizens. So this is our objective. These are our objectives for today's class. So citizenship simply means member of a state, legal member of a sovereign state or nation. Legal member, legitimate member, right? And when you're a legal member, you have your full constitutional rights as a member of that state. On the other hand, a citizen is a person recognized by law as a member of a state or nation. Therefore, he or she enjoys some rights and privileges. For example, right to life, right to vote during the election, freedom of association and whatsoever, right to own properties and the likes. So we're going to marry this topic with some fundamental human rights as well. How do we acquire citizenship? We do that by birth, naturalization, registration, honorary conferment, conquest, dual citizenship. So by birth is when it's acquired on two main premises, by descent or place of birth. So if your parents are Nigerians, it is as argued that you're a Nigerian by descent because your parents are Nigerians. So, but if you are born in a state in California and they allow citizenship by birth, you can become a Californian, that means the United States, you hold the United States passport because you are born in California and you're also a Nigerian by descent. Do you get the point now? So by descent is when a person is born by a parent who's a citizen of a given country. Or a place of birth is when a person is given birth to within the territory of a state, even though the parents are citizens of another country. So your parents can be Nigerian by descent because they were born there, and you are a citizen by birth because you are born in a given country, different from your parents' place of birth, right? Now, naturalization and application. Here, a foreigner can become a citizen of a country where he or she resides when he has met the constitutional requirements of naturalization. So this is where you stay in the country for. Some countries have requirements. Some will say you will stay 7 years. Some will say you will stay 21 years and the likes. You must be of good personal conduct, pay tax, no criminal record, and you can apply for it. That's what we call naturalization. Many of us studied abroad, worked there, and applied for it over time, and we got it. Now, by registration or marriage, this method is used when a woman marries a man from another country, or a man marries a woman from another country. For example, you go to Canada, you've lived there for like 3 years, you met a Canadian, you fell in love, and you got married. So you will now register, right? Now, this one is more or less ceremonial because it doesn't come with the rights and privileges of being a citizen, but it's done when it happens when an individual is honored with the citizenship of another country as a mark of favor. Maybe that person has done something remarkable for that nation. The popular story I used to tell at this point is Goose Hiddink, when he took South Korea, when they hosted the World Cup in 2002, when they took South Korea to, I think, the last four. I think they gave him citizenship by honorary conferment. They gave him first class. He can fly on South Korean airline first class for 1 full year, anywhere he wants to go, paid by the South Korean government, right? So they reward you for what you've done for them. Now, conquest is citizenship through conquest is possible, right? Let's say America invades Nigeria and conquers Nigeria, right? So they sort of destroy everything that has to do with Nigeria and forcefully confer citizenship, Nigerian citizenship, American citizenship on us, on Nigerians. So because you are conquered, you now become a citizen of that country that conquered you. Now, secession or maybe when you pull off, when a country pulls off, right? Let's say Biafra pulls away from Nigeria and becomes a country of its own, and it now gives citizen it now members of the so-called Biafra who were once Nigerians can now apply for Biafran citizenship in their host country, or they become citizens by conquest or secession. Now, this is when one legitimately, or it is possible for a person who so wishes to be a dual citizen where the law allows it. So in some countries, it is possible. In some, it is not possible. Now, what are the rights of citizens? Now, rights may be defined as certain privileges that every citizen enjoy in his or her country, irrespective of their sex, tribe, creed. These rights are inalienable. That means they cannot be separated from your person. So long as a human being from this place, you possess these rights. Right? Take note of that term, inalienable. Right? Now, these rights are natural, they are civil, they are political, they are legal. So all these rights we are going to see here can be classified under these 4 points here. So they can be natural, civil, political, or legal. And most often, these rights are enshrined in the constitution of the land. So the constitution protects it. So when we talk about the independence of the judiciary in the previous class, that they help protect the constitution, help protect our fundamental human rights, this is what we're referring to. Now, some of these rights are rights to life, dignity of human person, liberty and security, fair hearing, you see, freedom of thought, conscience, religion, right to expression, right to peaceful assembly, right to freedom from discrimination, right to acquire and own properties, and lots more. When we talk about human rights, it all began after the Second World War. So this is not in the notes, so you have to pay attention to this. The Fundamental Declaration of Human Rights was done, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, in 1948. It was the work that was embarked upon by Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of the then American President Theodore Roosevelt. Did it in France, right? After the Second World War and the carnage that went with it, the world had to come up with this principle to protect human beings from themselves, right? And they declared that these rights are inalienable. I mentioned 2 things. 1948, Eleanor Roosevelt. You have to note these 2 things. Don't forget them. So what are the duties and obligations of citizens? So when the state guarantees and protects your rights, you owe the state some duties and obligations. For example, you have to obey the law. That's one. You have to pay taxes. When you work, you pay your taxes. You have to perform some civic responsibilities like voting during election, or becoming part and parcel of, or fighting for political offices. You have to show loyalty to your nation. You have to aid the security agencies prevent crime, and also respect national symbols like your national flag, like your currency, your passport, and whatsoever. Now, what's the difference between a citizen and an alien? A citizen is a legal member of a state, a sovereign state, while an alien is someone who doesn't have those status or status. So a citizen is a legal member of a country, while an alien is not. So a citizen owes duties and obligations to his country, but a non-citizen or an alien does not. A citizen can serve his or her country in any capacity, right? As a president, as a governor, as a local government chairman. Alien cannot. A citizen can enjoy full civil and political rights, vote during election, campaign for electoral offices. An alien cannot. So all these points here are just, you can learn 5 or 6 of them. Citizen shows loyalty to his or her country, right? And so on and so forth. So run through them again. We looked at a couple of topics, some topics here. What is citizenship? Who's the citizen? What are the ways of acquiring citizenship? Rights and duties of a citizen. Difference between citizens and non-citizens, right? There was this question I used to ask. Let's say you are flying British Airways and you're over the Atlantic Ocean heading to England. And let's say you're pregnant. I'm addressing the ladies now. And you give birth to the child, right? Right there on air. What will be the actual citizenship of that child? Let me get your answer in the feedback in the comment section. Right? Do have a pleasant day.